If you go to Miss Shirley Dance Universe, in parentheses, it had fans only. It's for her fans only. Not no fuck. What the fuck I look like? Put my baby on only. I'm not even on there. What sense do that make? Make it make sense. Y'all so damn slow and damn. Y'all take anything y'all see on social media and run with it. I don't believe shit I see on social media. It's 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. You think my motherfucking baby sit up and dance all motherfucking day? Hell no. You see what I put on social media. Some of that shit be old content. I'm right there every step of the motherfucking way. When they called me in the room today and told me they had to do an investigation, and my baby had to literally sit outside in a motherfucking chair by her motherfucking self because some stupid bitch to call in. Now they want to come in and take pictures of my motherfucking house. Cool me. Tuesday, she got to go in for a motherfucking forensic investigation. They want to know, has somebody touched us? Why the fuck my baby, 4 years old, got to go through some shit like that? And I said, I never screamed at a motherfucking phone, but y'all bitches are. Okay, guys. This is what we're discussing today. Me and my mystery guest. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. We are talking about the sensational, viral YouTuber influencer, Miss Shirley. And as you heard her express herself, because someone, one of the fans, called, what was it,
CPS,
CPS
Child
on her,
Protective Services.
Child Protective Services. So my question is, because I really don't follow Miss Shirley, but you do, correct?
I don't follow Miss Shirley either, but I've watched Miss Shirley because there's a lot of content going on about Miss Shirley, and Miss Shirley's 4 years old.
Okay, so the lady we just heard, it's not about her, but her daughter is the viral.
Yes, her
Okay,
daughter's gone viral for doing the boots on the ground,
so my
the
first question.
dancing to the boots on the ground. Yes.
So my first question is, are we making too much of this?
No, I think it's big. It is. This is so huge because this girl is 4 years old, and it's nice. You know, it was cute. First time you see it, like she's doing the dance, and she went viral. So the mom continuously to put content out about her daughter, and she calls her daughter Miss Shirley.
So she's capitalizing off of the child's video going viral.
Yes.
So let me ask you another question. When we talk about child stars, okay, like remember the little girl, um, John Benet Ramsey.
Yes.
Okay, she was in pageants, and they felt like that was too much. She had on too much makeup.
Exactly.
So it's a ant on you, sis. Get out of here, ant. I don't know if I got it. God damn it. Hold on. So okay, so but where did she go wrong at, in
Okay.
your opinion?
My opinion is she booked her daughter a meet and greet at a nightclub, a bar for grown-ups. Um,
Wow.
and this meet and greet was at nighttime. It wasn't in the day. So it had to be between 9 and 2 o'clock. So I'm not sure the time, but like I seen, you just heard the video of her saying that her daughter is at a meet and greet, and there's other young folks around at this bar in Birmingham, Alabama. There were no young people there. It was just Miss Shirley. And the big thing about it was grown men are coming to meet Miss Shirley, and she's letting these grown men that never met her daughter pick her daughter up, and she's allowing her daughter to go in the arms of these men and to be held and hug them.
Okay, so let me stop there for a minute. When we was younger, that was a no-no. You don't sit on no man's lap. You don't really have contact with a child
Correct,
when we was younger.
correct,
And it was like, kids stayed in kids places, and you didn't interact with the grown folks.
exactly.
So I see a shift right now where there's no more boundaries. That's what it sounds like we're talking about here.
Yes,
Not the child performing, but boundaries, and the mother exposing her to individuals, adults, particularly grown men, and she should not, basically.
no, because when you see these videos, that you would think that these men are related, and that little girl knows these men. She's This is her first time meeting them, and she's running into these men's arms, and they're picking her up, and they're hugging her, and they're telling her they love her, and they're crying, and they're holding her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's really sad.
Well, let me ask you another question. Where is Mrs. Shirley's father? Is there a baby daddy present?
I haven't seen the dad. He's not present at these meet and greets. I don't think the dad's involved. I haven't heard about the dad.
So this is a single mother, basically, who got some luck of the internet, social media, basically, and she's running with it. And you think she's doing more harm than good?
Yes, I do, and it's good. I think that someone. I heard a man called CPS on her and reported the mother. And the mother, she's online cursing them out, cursing anybody out that thinks she's not doing the right thing. But she's introducing her daughter to other dancers, and they're showing her sexual moves, like far as winding and twisting your hips more, and and that's ugly, and it's not a good.
So it's not appropriate for her age.
No, it's not appropriate. It's not good taste for the mom to be doing this for her daughter.
And Son, we always say our kids can sing rap songs and lyrics and things like that, but they can barely count and read.
Yes, right.
Mm.
Right, that's more important far as learning the kid out. If she was doing math and some good, some decimals or something that,
Right.
so, do something impressive more than dancing. But I could see her doing it once or twice. But then the lady's making this ongoing thing. Yeah, she's working her daughter. She's putting her daughter out there. So
And you hear all the stories how, like, what's going on with Diddy, Justin Bieber, and all the child actors, and how they pretty much destroyed their lives. Do you think at the rate that she's going, do you think she's grooming her daughter?
yes, she's grooming her in a bad way, and I don't think this woman sees that. And I think she just sees dollar signs. That's what she's looking at. She's not even looking at how it's gonna affect her daughter in the long run.
I know, because you know what? I think that her daughter's gonna be so used to the attention when she doesn't get it, and what she don't realize how a lot of people go into a serious depression when you stop disliking them, and especially she's a baby. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
right.
Like, she don't understand. She doesn't understand, life enough that when this does happen, how to respond to it. That's my opinion.
Exactly. That's what the mom should be preparing her for. Yes,
Yes,
for
because
the future, like when she's not so famous all of a sudden.
right, the the withdrawal from that, you don't have another plan, you don't have a backup plan other
Yes,
than her dancing.
exactly. And what she's doing is she's planting a bad seed.
Do you
She's already planted it.
think other kids will follow, or other parents will follow this?
Yes, it depends. It depends on what the outcome of Miss Shirley's gonna be, because right now is very controversial, you
Mm.
know. So I don't know how long it'll last, and it's not looking good. So yeah, she's putting her daughter in a bad situation where she psychologically she's gonna need some therapy.
So how about the club owner? Do you think it was their responsibility to deny them access, knowing that Miss Shirley was a little baby?
Yes, I that was so inappropriate to have a meet and greet at the bar.
I know. Why not Chuck E. Cheese?
Yes, yes,
Or
and
even a
right.
playground or some other venue that's kid friendly.
Yes, where other kids, these are grown people standing in line to meet Miss Shirley. And who knows the history and the background of these people?
Correct, because you can't have everybody around your children. That's why they do be doing background checks. Now, what if she read something and find out all of these people were predators? You know how they have
Right.
that that alert where they notify you who's the person in your
Yes.
community
Yes.
that's a sex offender.
Yes.
So that's what she's exposing her child to, because that's weird. Men, in my opinion, that grown men would want to line up to see a baby.
Yes, and the man that made the song, Get the Boots Off the Ground, he met Miss Shirley, and he was one of them that was crying and telling Miss Shirley that he loves her. Miss Shirley doesn't know. The little girl doesn't know this man, and the mother doesn't know the man. How could you allow that?
And why her video of all videos in the world popped, you think?
It was cute at first, by her being at the small age and doing the boots on it. She just looked it adorable. So the mother took off and running with it because, yeah, it went viral.
Okay. And another thing is this. She said that her daughter has to go through some type of forensic investigation now. What do you think that's about, the forensic?
Oh, because people are reporting her. So uh, the police are taking it as far as, yeah, has she been touched, and so what does she expect? And she's making a big argument about it, like they're wrong. And that's the only correct thing to do, because the girl's 4 years old and your mother's letting you run into men's arms, and Lord knows if the mother's there all the time,
Mm.
you know,
And
with the little girl.
do you think she has a talent agency behind her, or a talent manager behind her now because of the success?
I haven't heard about that. As far as I know, is the mother's taking um, the biggest responsibility with that part.
You know what? Now that I think about it, right? If she would have had a talent agency behind her, there's no way they would have allowed that meet and greet to happen in a bar.
Yes, right,
You know what I mean? It's
correct.
like, and then there's child laws that when your kid do reach some success or some type of fame in their work, because now she's considered a working actor, basically, or actress, that they have to put a certain amount of their money away. So do you think she's managing the money properly?
I have no idea, but I wouldn't. I don't think the mother's that responsible because the things she's doing in public, showing how irresponsible she is.
So if she had held the meet and greet at like a kid friendly venue, do you think that a person wouldn't have called CPS on her? See,
No, I don't see it. I don't see it because there would be other little kids around, and other little kids would have been there instead of grown-ups.
yeah, that is a weird situation. You know what I
That
mean?
is so weird, and the mother's not seeing it that way, and she's making herself look really bad.
She could even went if she was so good with that show, her dance routine. She could have even went on the Beyonce tour. You understand? And did it because the guy who did the boots on the ground, Beyonce be promoting him too, on her tour.
Yeah, no,
Because
I'm not
would you
sure
see
about that.
that? Would
She
you
was
have
on the
seen a little
Jennifer. She
girl?
was on the Jennifer Hudson show.
But I'm talking about as far as like her performing. Would you have seen Miss Shirley at a Beyonce concert?
I'm not sure about that because Beyonce is another type of person too, and she's about her and her family and making money. So I don't see her promoting.
But she called the guy from Boots on the Ground, on who made
Right.
the artist. He
Yes.
was on her tour too. He came out there and did something with her.
Well,
I seen a
because of
video.
all the controversy, I don't think Beyonce would want to get involved with that. Yeah.
Okay, so you think
Hmm.
that but could you have? Do you think if she was on a Beyonce tour doing the Boots on the Ground dance, do you think there would have been controversy behind that?
No, don't, because Beyonce has her daughter on the show, so
Yeah,
no.
but she's much older. And Remy, little Remy, Remy, she brings out too.
Yeah, so that's it's like a little more like a family
Okay.
situation.
So how about the guy that called the CPS?
CPS.
How about him? Do you think he was wrong for doing that?
I think he was more than right for doing that. Somebody had to do it. If he didn't do it, somebody else was going to do it.
But why it couldn't have been a woman to do it? You think women support that type of behavior more than men?
No, I don't, and I'm surprised it was a man, but that shows you um, the delicacy of the situation, how serious it is. The man has a heart. The mother, she just doesn't care. I don't think so. She's not looking at the big picture.
But do you think the reason CPS got involved was because the police was called?
Yes,
Oh, but what crime was being committed?
her promoting the little girl to grown-ups and to men, and that's what you see on the videos. Her running to men, and they're holding their arms out, and she's running into their arms, and she doesn't even know them.
And has she ran in between their legs? Have you seen videos like that?
No, I haven't seen that, but yeah,
But have she been hugging up on the men?
yes,
But has she
they
been
grab
touching
her.
body parts when she's hugging up on the men?
Yeah, she grabs her by the neck and hugs him, and they
But is it
hold her.
even though they don't know her, if it is it innocent? Like, is there any like body parts being touched? Like, you understand
Yeah,
what I'm
the
saying?
girl is being hugged and held and squeezed. Yes, that's a violation.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Well, I was a mom, and I just really had a rule like you don't do none of that shit. You basically hide from a distance.
Yes, and that's how this mother should be. She should be protecting her daughter, not promoting her daughter.
So it's like she's feeding her to the wolves
Yes,
already at a young age.
yes. And the girl's too young to know the. She's innocent. She's innocent in this.
So, what do you think the people are looking to, to happen for Miss Shirley?
For her mother to stop promoting her in these derogatory ways. And like you say, more of a child setting and not an adult setting.
Cause you know there was a little girl. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Her name is Lele, and Lele used to be a little like she was the first female rap star, like 10 years old. She was popping at the age of 10, but she had cute like little flows, and they made sense. But her dad was always by her side. She never was, he was never letting her go, to my knowledge, with adults and doing meet and greets. And if it's anybody who I thought who had a serious flow and you would want your daughter to be like, let it be Lele. Because Lele was cute. She had the rap. She was sassy cute, but
Right.
she
But he
wasn't
protected
swearing
her.
her.
Yes.
Right.
And he
The dad was
protected her.
involved.
Right. He wasn't promoting her out to the public. Right. He was just letting her do her thing.
Well, it was more on video, not meet and greet. And
Right.
she was a internet sensation way before all the rest of the kids, Little King, Mrs.
Right, but just this is taking it too far, and that's just greed. It's
Mm.
greed.
So, this can really destroy their family unit, and the kid, if they suspect any foul play, the
Right.
child can be removed from the home. Would you suggest that?
Well, the mom's gonna have to see that she's in the public now, and that she's gonna have to answer to whatever comes her way now. So she put herself there,
So,
and her daughter.
okay, but then remember the little girl, Honey Boo Boo? Did
Yes,
you ever watch that show?
yes, I did.
So, how would you compare Honey Boo Boo to Miss Shirley?
That was totally different too, because that was within their household and their family. It
Okay.
wasn't with the public. They wasn't, you know,
So, one had a protected setting and the other one didn't.
right. This is what's going on with Miss Shirley. Yes, she's putting her, she's betraying her to the public, and she's not thinking about the consequences.
How many how many black people you think feel like that? Or is it hate? Do you think it's genuine concern or hate?
I think it's genuine concern because the babe, she's a baby, you
Okay.
know. So the mother's foul. She's wrong.
Yeah. And I think she doesn't have that training, to guide and direct her. So she's gonna, bump her head along the way. But then there's mistakes and then there's intentional acts. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if the lady is suffering from some type of mental illness where
That is this viral videos. Yes, mental illness is greed. Is it's money. That's
it's making poor decisions because clearly, like, people, but I don't know, mental people who really have mental illness would go, like, they don't really like to be around people, and they don't really, they're more nervous and they don't like to be, the anxiety factor.
right. But okay, well, it's a different kind of illness. This is more of a greed thing.
But for the mother, not the daughter, because
Right, the daughter, she's innocent. She's innocent.
she's innocent. But what do you think about the crash, the 15 minutes of fame? And now it's turning around. Like, even though she started off innocent, just dancing, and now you see how it's turning into the bad publicity where
Yes.
people's accusing you're being, called a bad mom and questioned about, your parenting skills.
Yes, but so this is what she's putting her daughter through. The daughter's gonna need a lot of therapy and a lot of treatment to get out of this.
What if she start, like, start, I don't know, like, I don't want to say this because she's a baby, you know what I mean? But like really get the notion that because she's not getting the attention, no one doesn't like her anymore. She's not beautiful. She's not pretty. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but those are the things that the mother need to think about, that she's putting the daughter through. So it's not a good thing.
And then you know what? Now that I think about it, you know how the apps be like made for children, or they have the YouTube Kids app. Why was she even on the adult side of these social media platforms? Why do you think that is? Should they be held accountable?
The adults are giving her the attention. They're the one that's watching, and they're the ones that's contributing.
So, but what about the platforms that's allowing this? Because they say they got like people, human people, to watch and detect whether your video is community friendly or community
Right,
guideline. You know what I
right.
mean?
So the
Following the
little
community
girl's not
guideline.
doing anything far as where she's X-rated, So
But again, you made a very valid point when you was like, you don't know the background of these people, and it's men primarily. But as I was saying, like, there's a platform for children, and then there's a platform for adults. But one thing that, you know, even though this sounds corny, what it reminds me of is when the family has a party, and that little one that could sing and dance, she'd be like, come on in here and sing, come in here and dance.
right.
But instead of it saying in house, it got exposed to the whole world.
hmm
You know, that's what it reminds me of.
Right, but far as the social media, the algorithm, and the platforms going viral, everybody's getting paid, so they're not gonna stop it.
So, do you think at this point the child is basically there? What am I trying to say here? The predator. Like they're preying on the child because you said everyone's
She's
getting paid.
opening the doors for predators and everybody. Yes, so she needs to realize that.
And do you think her coming on social media, like expressing herself the way that she does, is helping her?
No, she just looks foolish, and it doesn't make sense. She's not making sense, and she just looks like she's exploiting her daughter. That's what it looks like.
So, so do you think that in your heart of hearts, this is what she's doing intentionally?
Yes, it's all about the money and the greed.
Well, I am happy we talked about this subject because you know what? This is a big issue in the entertainment industry, grooming, and that's what it sounds like. The mother is grooming the daughter, getting her prepared for this. And then she doesn't have no scare tactic. There used to be a thing where they would say, you don't talk to strangers, stranger danger. But she's
Yes,
knocking down the shield for that by allowing her daughter and these guys to approach her daughter and making it appear as if it's okay for you to talk to strangers.
yes, and it's not. So she's giving her daughter the wrong impression of life.
And you think it's going to be serious
Of course it
repercussions.
is. It will be.
Well, guys, you heard it from us. Your son, Miss Hartfield, and the mystery guest. And we're just talking about Miss Shirley and her parenting skills, her mom's parenting skills. I want,
Yes.
I want,
I pray for Miss Shirley and God bless her.
and yes, and on that note, we want y'all to leave some comments and messages. in regards to this interview and let us know how you feel. Thank you for watching. You want to say bye, mystery guest?
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Good
Okay.
day.
Have a good day, guys.